right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Senior Kickoff. My name is Emily LaFawn, and I am the Alumni Engagement Director here at WOU. My job pretty much consists of planning parties, building relationships, getting to know people, networking, and hanging out with all of our alumni like you. You probably didn't know that you're actually already all alums. It considers 45 credit hours to be an alum of Western Oregon University, so welcome to the family. Congratulations. Okay, so you're here tonight because you're on the path to graduation. As your alumni leader, I want to say congratulations, you've almost made it. Round of applause. Clap for yourselves, that's an accomplishment. Thank you. As a student, you have a full plate between classes, work, sports, intramurals, fraternities, sororities, just life in general, right? So we're here tonight to kind of take some of that off your plate and make graduation path a little bit easier and provide the information you need. I've invited some friends to talk about what needs to happen in order to graduate, and you'll hear from about 5 different people tonight. There'll be PowerPoint slides, information, and we will be out of here probably by 7 or a little bit before. So, without further ado, I'll bring up our first speaker tonight. They represent one of the more important departments on campus, the Registrar's Office. Please welcome Mark Decker.
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. As Emily said, I'm from the Office of the Registrar. My name is Mark Decker. I'm the Graduation Coordinator. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things tonight. They're not the most exciting things, but they are important things. So I'm going to talk about applying for your degree, because you actually have to apply for your degree. You have to tell us that you want to have that degree awarded. It doesn't just happen when you finish classes. And I'm also going to talk about how you can use degree tracks to verify that you are on track to graduate in that term. Okay. One little preliminary I want to cover before going into the main part is the difference between graduation and commencement. So I am the graduation coordinator. I'm a forms and records analyst, not an event planner. I'm concerned with graduation, which is the actual awarding of your degree, right? When you complete all of your requirements and our office awards you a degree, that's graduating. And that happens at the end of every term, fall, winter, spring, and summer. Commencement is a lot of fun. It's a ceremony honoring graduates and recent graduates, upcoming graduates, right? And that happens once a year following spring term. But those are 2 different things. So participating in commencement is not necessary to graduate. You can graduate without going to commencement. And sort of more importantly, participating in commencement is not sufficient for graduating, right? You can participate in commencement and not graduate. So I want to, but I don't like that. I want to make sure you graduate, so I'm going to talk about how to do that. So as I mentioned, you have to apply for your degree. On the registrar webpage, which I've given a little wou.edu/registrar/forms, you can find instructions for how to apply for your degree. And I'm going to just kind of talk through those steps quickly here. Actually, quick question. How many of you have not applied for your degree? A few of you? Okay, excellent. So I'll talk about that. If you have questions about that afterwards, certainly let me know. So you apply for your degree through WolfWeb. So on the portal, you can select WolfWeb, and then you go to the student menu, select student records, and then there's an option on that page that just reads apply to graduate. When you click that, apply to graduate, it's going to ask you first for your most recent term of enrollment. This is the step that throws everyone off. Because, like, for example, if you're registered for winter classes right now, it would read winter 2023, and people say, I want to graduate in spring, not winter, right? It's not yet asking you when you want to graduate. It's asking when your most recent term of enrollment is. And then what it's going to do is it's going to use that to pull up a curriculum for you. And then later in the process, you select which term you want. So I like to mention that first. When you first go to apply for your degree, it asks you not which term do you want to graduate in. It first asks you what term are you most recently enrolled in. And then once you've done that, it'll bring up a curriculum. So it'll show like your degree, your major, any credentials that you have on your record. If you're pursuing more than one credential, like say 2 degrees or a degree and a certificate or some combination, you have to apply for each of those separately. So you'll go through the process once for one credential, and then you'll want to go back and do it again for all of those credentials. If you're doing like a degree and a certificate, make sure you apply for the degree first, then go back and do the certificate. Also want to note, if you are applying for more than one credential, make sure you apply for to graduate the same term. Even if you're going to finish one of those credentials earlier than the other, like let's say you're pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Creative Production and you're also pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science, and next term you're going to be finished with that Bachelor of Arts degree, but you won't finish the Bachelor of Science degree until spring. You want to apply to graduate for both of those degrees spring term, right? Because if you apply to graduate for one, once you graduate, you are now a graduate, and your tuition rate is the graduate tuition rate, not the undergraduate. Does that make sense as to why you want it, no matter how many credentials you're applying for, and no matter when you're going to finish them, make sure you apply to graduate the same term for all of those credentials. Once you've selected your curriculum on the application, then the next thing, it'll lead you through steps so you can select your name, how you want your name to appear on your diploma. It does not have to be your legal name. You can have a nickname put on your diploma. That's fine. That's totally up to you, within reason. Someone did request to have Master of the Universe on their diploma. Our office did not accept that request. It'll also ask you for a mailing address for your diploma. We actually issue both digital and paper copies of the diplomas. It's actually a service called Parchment that actually issues these things, that actually prints. We don't print diplomas here in-house at WOU. It's this service called Parchment. It can take 4 to 6 weeks after we award the degrees for those paper copies to arrive, because there's a lot that they're printing, right? So keeping that in mind, like when you're thinking about the address you select, where will you be, say, 2 months after the end of the term that you graduate in? Because if you put your local Monmouth address and then you move, right, the post office, sometimes they'll send those back to our office, and then we have to contact you and figure out where to go. So that's just something to keep in mind there. And then when you get to the end of the application to graduate, it'll have all this information. You want to verify it's correct, and then very important, don't forget to click submit at the end there to actually get it to go through. The deadline for applying to graduate is always the second Friday of each term. So for fall 2022, the deadline to apply to graduate this term was Friday, October 7th. For winter 2023, it's that second Friday of the term. And for spring 2023, it's the second Friday, which should be April 14th. But when should you apply to graduate? As soon as you've completed 135 credits. That's what technically makes you a senior, is that you've completed at least 135 credits. Right? It's not how many years you've gone here. You could have gone here 7 years and still be a sophomore if you only took a few classes each term, right? So 135 credits completed, that's what makes you a senior. If you haven't yet completed 135 credits, the application process, you won't be able to go through it. It'll give you an error message. So once you've completed 135 credits, make sure you apply to graduate. Don't put that off. Our office recommends, it's not a requirement, but we recommend that you apply at least 3 terms in advance when possible to make sure that you can plan your schedule accordingly, right? But the strict deadline is second Friday of each term. Now, so you've applied to graduate. How do you know if you're on track to graduate in the term that you've selected? So our office sends out notices to people who've applied to graduate. So 1 week after registration for a term opens, we send out a pre-term notice. So winter registration opened this week, right? Next week, I'm going to send out a notice to people who have applied to graduate winter term, and it's going to say, we've reviewed your record and you are currently on track to graduate, or we'll say we've reviewed your record and there's something missing. Okay? The other thing is during the term, week 8, we send out a notice. So this is actually week 8 of fall term. So just today, actually, I sent out notices to students who've applied to graduate this term saying either you're currently on track or not on track to graduate. We do that week 8 because week 7 is the last week to drop a class, right? So you might have been on track to graduate, and then if you dropped a class, you might no longer be on track. So that's why we choose week 8 to send out that interim notice. The other way you can know if you're on track to graduate without having to rely on us sending a message is to use degree tracks. So, degree tracks, which hopefully you've all used multiple times. You access it from the portal. There's a little paw print that you click on and that icon, and it takes you to degree tracks. And it shows you your current record, right? For us to award a degree, this is what your degree tracks has to look like. Every requirement has to be marked as complete, especially so you can see there that Bachelor of Science, that's got a green check mark next to it. That's when we awarded a degree. So that's what you want yours to look like in the end. So how do you know if you're on track? This is what it'll look like if you're on track to graduate that term. So you can see that little blue tilde next to the Bachelor of Arts there. The blue tilde means in progress. So what that means is at the end of that term, that blue tilde turns into a green check mark. And that's true of anything in degree tracks. If it's got the blue tilde, right, at the end of the term, if you successfully pass your classes, it turns into a green check mark. So this student here, you can see is on track to graduate this term. This is, in fact, I've redacted it for FERPA laws, but this is, in fact, an actual student record here. Versus if there's a blank box, what that means is even when the term finishes, that box is still going to be blank because it's not in progress, right? In progress boxes turn to green check marks. Blank boxes stay blank. So this record here, you can see even at the end of the term, they're not going to have completed their degree. Specifically, you can see their major requirements are still going to be outstanding. Okay? So that's one way if you're saying, how can I use degree tracks to know if I'm on track or not, right? On track, you're going to have your in progress for the degree itself, not just for requirements below it, but for the degree itself. Not on track, you're going to see the degree itself is not listed as in progress. It's just got that empty box. How often should you check degree tracks? Why not every week? But at a minimum, right, anytime you make changes, registering for courses, check it before and after. Anytime if you change your major, check it before and after, right? After grades are posted, check degree tracks. Anytime our office sends you a notice, please check degree tracks. And then what can you expect at the end of the term in which you've applied to graduate? Well, if you've met all your degree requirements, what you can expect is an official notice from our office that we send to your WOU email saying you've graduated. Okay? When does that happen? Well, we process degrees, of course, after grades have been submitted, and so it usually doesn't take this long, but it can be up to a couple of weeks after the actual end of the term, right? So sometimes students say, hey, I finished my last exam, where's my degree? Well, we got to do some data processing and stuff like that, so it can take a while. But we send out an official graduation notice. If at that time you have no holds on your account, like you don't owe the school money, then you'll also get email from Parchment, the service which prints the diplomas. They'll give you immediate access to your digital diploma, and they'll also start the process of printing and shipping the paper copy. Also, if you are going to order transcripts, like some people ask me about, applying to grad school, stuff like that, and of course the grad school wants to know that you've graduated. Don't order those official transcripts until you've gotten the notice from our office that you've actually graduated, because at that time, your transcript will reflect that you've graduated, right? If you ordered an official transcript, say, during finals week of your last term, it's not going to say you've graduated yet, because we hadn't actually awarded that degree yet. If there are holds on your account, you still graduate, okay? But you won't get that official diploma yet. That's something that we hold. You also cannot order official transcripts if you have a hold on your account. So if you had a hold on your account, you would need to resolve those holds before you can get a diploma or official transcripts. And it's the business office on campus that you contact to resolve holds. However, even if you have holds on your account, like I said, that doesn't prevent you from graduating. You still graduate. And if you need something that shows you've graduated, you can request an official verification letter from our office that would state that you graduated. And you can get that on our website on the forms page. And also, I apologize, this is taking longer than I planned it to. Now, that's what you can expect if you've completed all your requirements. But if you've applied to graduate and you still have outstanding requirements, then what happens at the end of the term is we send you a notice saying, hey, you applied to graduate this term, but you're still missing requirements. Then we give you a 2-week grace period to either get those requirements met, right? So if you took an incomplete, you got to finish that incomplete within those 2 weeks, if you still want to graduate that term, right? Or if you're not going to finish your requirements that term, you just have to ask us to update your term of graduation. So if you thought you were going to finish spring term, but it turns out, you took an incomplete or something and you need more time to finish it, or something comes up, that's fine. Just contact our office and say, I'd like to graduate summer term instead, or fall term, or whatever. We can always move those applications forward, not a problem. But if you don't contact us within that 2-week period to do that, and you still have those outstanding requirements, then we cancel your application to graduate. And then when you really do want to graduate again, you actually have to contact our office, and we have to manually put in a new application for you, which I get paid to do, so it's not really that big of a problem. But it's something we like to avoid, and it is avoidable, as you can see. All you got to do is ask us to update that graduation term, and that's what I've got for you. Any questions you have right now? All right, well, thank you very much. And hey, can we give it up for the interpreters?
All right, thanks, Mark. That was great and really good information. So yeah, registrar, important. Check them out, fill out your forms. Okay, so our next speaker is here from Center at Professional Pathways. Adri Clark is here to tell you about what services are available to you as a student and as an alumni. Welcome, Adri.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. Congratulations. You're so close. You're going to be a graduate in just a few months. What an accomplishment. So my name is Adri Clark, and I serve as the director of the Center for Professional Pathways. My pronouns are she, hers. And I just want to tell you a little bit about our office. I know a lot of you have been in our office before, but a lot of you haven't. And we're here just to help you along this path. You came here probably wanting to create a future for yourself. That's with all kinds of possibilities and a real professional role. And our office is here to help you with that. So whether it's to kind of figure out what that might be or to help you explore that, to help with some connections that can kind of help you learn more or maybe find some opportunities, or to teach you some skills that are going to help you put your best foot forward, like a really good resume that you're just proud to give to people, or to learn to interview in a way that makes people really want to talk to you and invite you to work with them. That's what we do. And we do that for you as a student. We also do it for the rest of your life. You have access to our office for the rest of your life. So that's really unique. Most schools don't do that. So we're really proud that we do that for our students. So I would say make the most of this year. If you're graduating in the spring, really think about your career development as like an extra course you take every term. With everything you need to do in terms of getting ready, I would take it that seriously. So get experience, talk to people, try things, do stuff, and learn to tell your story in a way that really kind of, serves you best. So there's no wrong place to be. I know a lot of you think either you feel like you have it all figured out, or you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and everybody else has it all figured out. There's no right or wrong place to be. You are where you're at. And so our office, use our office. We're right down the hall, and we know a lot of people. We're very connected to grad schools, to employers. So I just wish you the best. Best of luck, but really stay active and proactive this year, and we'd love to see you. Best of luck.
Moving right along. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. All right, up next is Kella Heller. Kella represents financial aid and is here to tell you what you need to do prior to graduating. Please welcome Kella.
Well, welcome. So glad that you're here tonight, and congratulations. It's a very exciting time. What I have for you is probably the least amount of paperwork if you're a financial aid recipient than when you actually start. So that's the good news about financial aid, is the paperwork gets less. So I'm going to just go through a couple pages here really quick. And this is a handout that actually Emily is going to make available after the presentation to you guys, and she'll send that out. It's a pretty lengthy document, but there's some really great information that you'll want to know as you prepare to graduate. So particularly if you have had student loans. And so I would say probably 74% of all of you in this room have had to take out student loans at one point or another during their career. This is information you'll want to know about. Okay, so what you can do about your student loans as you prepare here to graduate. Let me keep going down. This is not working very well. Okay. You want to make sure that you're in contact with your lenders. So you should have been given that information when you first took out loans, and you should also have probably only one lender. They used to have multiple lenders for every loan that you took out, but that's something they did a long time ago, so hopefully you just now have just one lender. So make sure that you're paying attention to that information that they're sending you, because it's important to make sure that you're on track so that you don't go into a default status. There is a student loan pause right now that's in effect until January. So if you're graduating at the end of fall term, you have at least 6 months, because once you've graduated, you don't go into repayment for the first 6 months unless you've already used that 6-month grace period at some point during your college career. But you want to make sure and pay attention to when you actually go into repayment. given that the student loan forgiveness program has been put on pause, there is discussion that they may extend the student loan repayment to further in the year. That is not a given at the moment, but there's a possibility that that could happen. So keep an eye out for that as well, and unless something else changes with the student loan forgiveness side of things. So it's a changing landscape every day at work. Okay, and then make sure that you are choosing a repayment plan that meets your needs. There are 9 different repayment plan options, and the one thing I want to make sure and stress is that you never go into default, because avoiding the notices from the lender and not taking any kind of action is going to cause that to happen. And you don't really want that to happen at all. So make sure that you're at least doing some kind of a repayment plan, even if it's a 0 repayment option. But again, it's all going to be dependent on whether the student loans are, the repayments are put on pause for a little bit longer. So again, just keep in touch with your lender on that. Then you want to also think about whether you can do student loan forgiveness. Well, actually, that's public service loan forgiveness program. So if you go into work in government or 501c3 kind of businesses, then you can be eligible for the public service loan forgiveness program. So you want to be kind of watching for that information on that as well. And then you want to look consolidation, excuse me. Consider whether consolidation is going to be right for you. So every year that you take out a student loan, it's going to have a different interest rate. But when you consolidate your loans, they all get consolidated into one loan with one interest rate. And you want to make sure that whatever that interest rate is, that it's in your favor so that you're not consolidating loans that might have a lower interest rate. So you really want to pay attention to that as well. But if you go into public service loan forgiveness program, you're going to want to make sure and consolidate those loans. So there's a little bit of coordination that has to happen with those. But again, your lenders can help you through all of that process. Through this, you want to make sure and beware of student loan scams. So there's going to be people that'll be reaching out to you and offering up different student loan forgiveness options, and make sure that it's coming from a reputable source. So you should have been given, like I said, information about who your lender is, and those are the people that you want to be making sure to reach out to. You can also reach out to our office if you have questions about the process, and we can certainly direct you in the right way on that. So again, make sure you're being in contact and not ignoring the information that you're receiving. So the rest of this document, like I said, has some really great information in it. So we'll make it available, but let me see what else we've got in here. So there's information on who you can reach out to for help about your student loans. And there's budgeting information in here. Anyway, there's a bunch of information. So I just want to leave that for you to look through and look at all that so you're on the right track for graduation. And one of the points I really want to make too that Mark made a great point about is that he mentioned making sure that you're not applying for graduation until your last credential. And that becomes really important from the financial aid side of things too, because your eligibility for aid drastically changes once you've graduated. And we've seen that happen enough times with students where they got excited because they wanted to be able to graduate with a first degree, and then they had another one that they were still trying to apply for, and then they were no longer eligible for some of the free money that's available to students as an undergrad. So once you've graduated, then your aid drastically changes. So, but if you have other questions on that, please reach out to us. We're here to help you. So thank you.
We are getting close. So our next speaker couldn't actually be here tonight. She's out doing some graduate program work. Amber Dietz leaves us with a video. She represents graduate programs, and I will go ahead and play that video.
Hi, class of 2023. My name is Amber Dietz, and I'm the Director of Graduate Student Success and Recruitment. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you tonight. I'm downtown at the WOU Wednesday Crawl if you want to come up afterwards. It gets over at 7, but there might still be quite a few students down there visiting the businesses. If you wear your WOU gear and or present student ID, you can get a discount. But I'm here tonight to talk to you about some exciting things that we have for our students that graduate from Western Oregon University. Not only do we have over 13 graduate programs here at Western Oregon University, we also have graduate assistantships that students that are attending Western have the highest priority in the review of applications. That priority deadline is February 1st of 2023. You don't need to be fully admitted or graduated yet. You can apply for those GA positions that provide you with a tuition reduction and stipend as you apply for grad school. I'm sorry that I can't be with you tonight, but if you have any admission application questions for grad school, feel free to stop by. We're in our office in the admin building 205. Kristen Larson is here to assist you in any way. And then I can also answer any questions that you have about the programs themselves. We have programs ranging in criminal justice, student or licensure. I'm sorry, they're cleaning my building as I'm trying to make this for you guys tonight. We have teaching programs, criminal justice programs, a new justice studies program. We have an org leadership program. We have a plethora of programs that we're happy to provide. If you go and check us out at graduate.wou.edu, we'd be happy to assist you. And anytime, you're welcome to stop by and I'd be happy to help you. Have a great day, guys. Take care. Bye.
Our next speaker comes from Jostens, Troy Decker. He is going to tell you about regalia, important dates to remember, how to get decked out in your regalia and graduation gear on commencement day. So, without further ado, welcome Troy.
All right. Yeah, so my name is Troy Decker. I'm no relation to Mark Decker, your grad coordinator, but we're both nice guys. So I'm with Jostens, specifically the territory rep for Oregon and Southern Idaho, and just colleges and universities. So, and we work in partnership with Mark's office, the registrar, and also the Wolf store to provide the products that you need for graduating, not graduating, but for commencement, right? And so we're all about the celebration. So, and we do that primarily through our Western Oregon University official class rings, our graduation announcements, diploma frames, the WOU regalia, which is just a fancy way to say caps and gowns, and then also the diploma covers that you get when you cross the stage at commencement. So the first week of spring term, the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is April 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we will be set up in the Warner Center here, right in front of the Wolf store, and that is basically your one-stop shop where you'll be able to take care of getting your cap and gown, ordering graduation announcements, ordering a class ring, and also diploma frames. So. If you would like to check out the products ahead of time, you can go on jostens.com/college and then just affiliate to Western Oregon University, and you'll see the custom products available for Western. And this is just a kind of a preview of what the website looks like. Also, you can, on the website, you can click on a ring and custom design it, actually create a rendering of the ring before you order it. So this allows you to kind of see what it's going to look like. Drop different stones on the ring. You can change the metal and just basically conceptualize it in front of you, which is kind of fun. If you're not somebody who wears a ring, we do have other jewelry items if you're interested in those too, and you can see those on the site as well. In addition to the rings, Jostens also does the graduation announcements, which is a nice way for you to spread the news to your friends and family that you're graduating. And these are formal, traditional announcements that will have your name, degree, and major printed in the text. We also have the note cards for thank you notes, the seals for the envelopes, and return address labels. And those come in packages, which you'll get information on prior to the ordering event. Here's a quick little sample of kind of how your graduation announcement is personalized. So it'll have your name, degree, your major, if you have a minor or honors, emphasis, that can all be included in the text as well. In addition to announcements, we also have the diploma frames, which is a really nice way to protect and display that hard-earned document. And those will be available as well during the event. And then we also have the graduation regalia, which you'll be able to get at the event. Typical regalia, the cap gown and tassel is the required piece when you walk in commencement. And most people do get the stole, dresses up your gown, and looks nice in your photos. But the stole is actually, has kind of a story behind it. It's called the stole of gratitude. So you wear the stole as a gesture of recognition of somebody or people who have offered you support while you've been in school. So the stole is worn during commencement as a gesture of recognition of them. And then after the ceremony, if you'd like, you can present it to them. Now, a lot of people just like it because it definitely breaks up the red and looks nice in your pictures too. So, in addition to the cap, gown, tassel, and the stole, the registrar's office also presents honor cords and veterans cords for those that qualify. Yeah. And so if you have any questions leading up to the event, the Wolf Store is partners with Jostens, and they can answer any questions for you as well. And so also when you cross the stage, you'll receive a diploma cover, which I think is handed to the student from the president or the dean. I'm not sure. You'll get that when you cross the stage, and that happens automatically when you attend. So yeah, really we're all about recognizing important moments, and college commencement is one of the biggest, and so we're just here to help you celebrate that, and congratulations, you guys are getting close. Thank you so much.
Okay, so like I said, I'm your last speaker tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming in here, being here with us. Thank you to our speakers. I hope it was informative for you all. It's great to see everybody, be back in person. And so I'm going to keep my remarks pretty short and sweet. Thank you. Go ahead. Basically, I love my job. I love working with alums. I love seeing everybody, hearing the stories. This is why you are all here and why we are here. We come back, we share our stories, we champion for Western, we tell people how great the experience was, what we loved about this place, and just support our alma mater. So I get the privilege of working with everybody and just hearing those stories time and time again. And I can't wait to hear your stories when you come back for events like homecoming and tree lighting and senior send-off, which is all for you again. That's at the end of the year. It's June 12th at General House. You'll get an invite for that towards the end of the year. So the last thing that's really important is to update your contact information with us. You can go online to wou.edu/alumni and update your info. That will make sure that you stay connected, you get invites to events, know what's happening at the university, and just let us say hi. If you have any questions, my office is in the Welcome Center, room 145. I've always got coffee, I've got swag, I've got candy. So come on by, say hello, share your stories. And I look forward to seeing you all as alumni. Congratulations and thanks again.